Hello, everybody. Today I want to talk about, my name's Dr. Cheryl Meyer, but today we're going to talk about a heart awakening experience. So, because someone taught me this maybe more than a year ago, and so I've just been contemplating it for a while for us. And I want to convey it to you guys because one of my subscribers on YouTube was commenting about it the other day. I don't want to call that person out, in case it was just for me. Okay, so what can happen, all right, is you can have this experience, and this is for all of us, right? Because all of us are meant to have this experience naturally, right? Even if, like, people that do yoga, they're doing a pose where they're just opening their heart and they're just like doing these poses that open their heart center, right? And so I welcome all religions, and I'm not trying to put anybody off. I'll mention some things. I don't mean to trigger anybody. I've been a psychologist for over 20 years. My name's Dr. Cheryl Meyer. Okay, so now, some people call this a kingdom spouse, or they call it twin flames, but I don't want to get into any of that stuff because I just feel like that gets us back into egotism. That gets us back into reducing something to something smaller than what it is, okay? So this is why it's so cool. Like, you go back into the space of understanding that all these videos were coming together for me today on my drive here. And because I was reflecting a little bit about what do you want me to talk about today. I asked Divine Love, to just be present. There's a cop. And so what can happen, and when I pause like that, just be present with me. Let me clean this. Be present with me. and because the most important thing of all of this is your soul and your soul's path. So whether people believe in reincarnation or what they believe, you know what I mean? It's like that your soul has a path, and your soul has something it's meant to accomplish and to wake up to, or to remember, and I know other people in the world believe that people's soul keeps coming back to keep going on this trajectory. Now, if you understand what Jesus said, he said, this is my entele, my commandment. The word in Greek is telos. Now, I'm not trying to just mix religions just to mix them, just understand. Go meditate, contemplate, if you are a Christian, on John 1:9. And it says, he is the light that came to enlighten all men. I was just reading this commentary from the 1100s that was talking about that, and it blew my mind, right? And so that's all people, all men and women, right? And so what happens is your soul has a serious purpose for being here. And if we're caught up in egotism, we're caught up in this world and just making money, and like I've talked about, bread and circus, and filling our bellies. And look at this beautiful tree. We forget how to slow down because we're constantly running from the pain of our childhood. I was reflecting on that this morning too. I was reflecting, and this goes with this, it's just this idea that let's look at Adam and Eve as a myth, as a story, okay? I'm not saying it wasn't real in some real way. I'm saying look at the story that's being conveyed to us. They're deep truths, just like deep truths are conveyed to us in fairy stories. Look at the deep truths. imagine these two people that were one, you know, in the Torah and stuff, the Torah commentaries I had read, they said God created Adam and Eve. That's why there's the story. And then God took Eve out of Adam's side, right? And let's say, and they walked in the garden with divine love. So let's say they were still in this oneness with divine love. That's intimacy, all right? And they were given all this fruit, and there was this one tree, the tree of life and the tree of good and evil. And they weren't mature enough. They weren't meant to eat from that tree. But the devil comes, you know, as a serpent comes and says, you're missing something. God's trying to withhold something from you. And so take of this fruit over here. And so it's kind of like, take this fruit and walk away from the intimacy, this oneness you had. Take this fruit. And even if you think of relationships, you know, if, back to the heart awakening, I wanted to bring up, so I had this experience, and I had this with Elliot in a way as well, my friend Elliot Smith, where my heart just felt like it was on fire, right? And it's just like all of these old bitternesses and all of these old wounds that you have from childhood or whatever, they just sort of burn off, they break off, because it's like a fire hose of love shining through you towards this random person that you're just like, what in the world? You know, like I just felt it so strong the moment I met Elliot, and then the moment I met a couple other people. Now some people say you're in soul groups with people, and so God has you come out and you resonate more with those people, and so they're gonna just awaken your heart. And so if you get attached to that person, now I'm not saying God doesn't have some design, divine love doesn't have some design for that person. I don't know. I won't limit God in that. But if you keep focusing on the person, it's kind of like focusing on the tree back with Adam and Eve. You're leaving this intimacy with divine love that you could have because you keep focusing on, what's coming to my mind is like a Snickers bar. You know, it's like, you know, chocolate and nuts. You get your protein and your chocolate fix, and you feel satiated, and it fills your stomach, and it gives you this quick high, but then you go crashing low again. And so what I found, oh, look, that leaf just went right in my eye. What I found interesting, I was taught specifically by this Native American that like if a tree is trying to give you something, then it's a gift. I don't know. Anyway, I won't go into all that. I'm part Native American, but committed to this path of Christ for myself, but I don't push that on anybody else. I just see, okay, so this morning I saw this vision of Christ going, you know, look, stay in my presence here. This is why I teach presence so much. Learn how to be in deep presence. Understand that your heart awakening was a gift. Yes, it brought you into the dark night of the soul. Yes, it brought you to feel rejected over and over and over again by the Snickers bar, by that particular person if you focus on them. Yes, it had you keep going back to divine love, to God, and trusting, you have a bigger purpose. I pray that my heart opening was for you, and that you teach me how to go back in a union with divine love. And that the more you enter into presence, Christ was like showing me, right? This is just a brief flash of a vision I got, right? And I can't always tell all because we're told not to cast your pearls before swine. So I don't know how much I ought to say to just people that are randomly coming around my channels or even on Instagram. I'd rather put it on YouTube because people are searching for the videos instead of it's just there, So come over to YouTube. I might put this on Instagram, I don't know, but come over so that you're part of that community and you get to see the deeper videos, right? Like read all of the videos on mysticism that by Evelyn Underhill, who influenced C.S. Lewis. Like you'll learn a whole lot by that. But anyway, I heard this one woman say, that's a job for Jesus. Just let that person go, whoever that person was, whether it's a man or woman, whoever you are, that cracked open your heart and caused this dark night of the soul to happen and caused all this rejection to happen afterwards. give that person over to divine love is you know, what I've found is helpful. But what I was saying is, yeah, Jesus was saying, come, I created this way because Christ was perfect. I created this bridge or this pathway back to presence, back to divine love, where divine love also receives and accepts you. And so it's like this mystic, beautiful way for your soul, you know, to Jesus says, I have come to heal the brokenhearted, right? That's in Luke 4, right? He's quoting Isaiah. And so it's like, how is he going to do that? Well, he's not going to lie. He does what he came to do. So that's what he came to do, to set the captives free. And so it's like, if you let divine love, you let God into all of these broken places that were awakened by that horrible experience, that was the most painful experience of my life, for sure. I mean, Elliot's death was pretty painful, but this was like, I was on the floor in a fetal position, just, I don't know. Anyway, all right, it was 11:11 right now into this video. I'm about to wrap it up. I have another meeting. But it's like Jesus is saying, I want to bring you back in and reconcile you to perfect love. All of this was just so you could know. Maybe for the other person, who knows, that's between them and God. To know God again in a new way, to let go of the patterns. I had all of these patterns underneath, narcissistic, like, you know, victim patterns, where I kept thinking I had to please other people to get my worth. And all of this has been breaking away, even though I've been doing therapy and I've been a psychologist for over 20 years, you know, and so much therapy and so many classes and blah, blah, blah. This is just what's shown up for me. And I want to share it with you so you know you're not alone, and you know there's a deeper purpose, and trust divine love and ask God to guide you and give you wisdom in this. And I appreciate your presence. Thank you. Much love.